Hi everybody and welcome to W600. My name is Dr. Nichols-Boyle and I will be your instructor, your guide throughout this semester for this course. As you already know, the topic of this course is Topics in Rhetoric and Composition, but our specific focus for this section will be on pedagogy and rhetoric and digital writing for professional purposes. So in this short video, I just want to explain a little bit about myself and the course. You'll be getting a little bit more about me in the introductions for the discussions in the first week here. And then just for those of you who are a little bit more of a visual learners maybe, or oral learners, how the course works in terms of where you'll be able to get most of your information, how to navigate the Canvas site during these coming weeks. So to begin, I would say that the syllabus page here is going to be your home page for the first week, and this is where you can find most of the main information about how the course is organized and what the course is about. A lot of the more intricate policies and things about attendance or how the breakdown of some of the assignments will be more in the full syllabus, which is linked in here and in your first week's module, but all the main information can be found here. And then I will also be going through this a little bit so you can see where to find all that main information. After the first week, I will probably move this to just a syllabus section, and the home page will be your activities and the updated resources, things that are coming up in the course. And although you can always, if you've seen an online course before, if you've been in an online course before, which many of you probably have, you will see that the to-do list does show up here and show you what's coming up as well. And you can go to the calendar section also to see what the upcoming dates are. The main sections that we'll be using in this course are the modules. That's really should be your go-to, and that will have each week's instructions and resources and assignments. The assignments is where you'll be handing in all your assignments for the most part, and the discussions is where we'll be doing more of the interaction as a class. There are a few other sections I'll go over, but those are the main ones. And if you're ever in doubt, really modules is a section where you can find most of the information. So with that being said, let me talk a little bit about myself, my background, and the course, and then we'll go through this quickly visually where to find everything. So I have a background in professional digital writing myself. I've been teaching at IUSB. I know many of you from other campuses, that's where my home base is, for 10 years now. And I teach, in addition to other things, one of my main focuses is professional writing for undergraduates. And I teach writing for the web and writing for multimedia. Before I began teaching here, just after grad school, I also, one of my first jobs was working at Notre Dame in the Office of Information Technology, and I worked on translating their somewhat difficult technical language into a more recognizable language for users, and also doing things like their monthly newsletter internally and working on annual reports and things like that. So that was kind of my first real introduction, though I'd always loved technology. It was my first real introduction to kind of shaping your language more for the web or for an electronic medium. So that's one of the things that we're going to be focusing on in this course, is one, talking about the differences between print and even oral, print, and digital language, and how you have to adapt that writing and that language for the different mediums. And particularly in digital writing, you're thinking more about the audience and getting to the point, using visuals and interactiveness in a way that you don't with a typical essay or research paper. So it can be a big switch if it's something you're not used to. Obviously, most of you have written your own professional things like applications or reports or things of that nature. But if you haven't, depending on your experience, you may not have done that much in terms of writing on the web and for different electronic digital media. So that's part of the purpose of this course, is understanding that and getting into some of the pedagogy and rhetoric there. It's also trying to give this a way to connect to students, to be able to use this technology in a way to teach students, but also to connect to them in a way that's more purposeful and professional. So it's not just using the technology to be jazzy, but also for a really strong message to get across. And moreover, I know when I teach students myself, and many of you are teaching younger students than me, many of them have grown up with lots of social media and using the internet and using computers, texting, and they're very, very comfortable with that kind of communication for social purposes, but not so much for professional purposes. So being able to explain to students and show them how to be able to use this media in a way that is responsible and that follows the kinds of guidelines to be effective and to make it stand out in a positive way is another thing that we're going to try to be focusing on this semester. So with that being said, obviously let me know if you have any other questions along the way. I put this in here and I really respect that many of you are educators as well. And please share if you have insight into any of these issues as we go along, or any articles or techniques that you've come across as well. So the first page here is just telling a little bit about how the course works. That each week runs Wednesday through Tuesday. So the new week's module will open up on a Wednesday. It's a little early this first week to get everybody oriented to the course. So you'll have a little bit more time this first week. So it opens on a Wednesday, and then the major assignments are due the previous Tuesday. So for the week 2, everything will start being open again for the next week in Wednesday, January 16th, and then it will be due Tuesday, January 22nd. And the next week 3 would open up on Wednesday, January 23rd. Week 2 will be due Tuesday, January 22nd. We will also be having discussion forum posts most weeks. This is our place to kind of collaborate and to have more of that kind of class participation that you don't get as much all the time in an online class. So those will be due, the first post will be due on Saturdays of every week that we have a post, which is most weeks. Will be about 10 of them throughout the course. And that gives us a chance to have something to respond to by Tuesday so that we keep the conversation going. I will be checking in and making comments along the way in those as well. So they will be moderated. Again, the course is organized by modules. We'll go through one briefly in a minute so you can see how that works. And everything generally builds on each other, so they will open up 1 week at a time. Although when we get into some of the major projects a little bit later, you'll have a good idea of the objectives and the main assignments coming up, so you'll be able to work a little bit more on your own pace. You, again, consult the syllabus first if you have questions, but of course ask me as well by email is probably the most effective. As I mentioned here, if you are on campus, I'm happy to meet with you as I also teach face-to-face courses. Or if you want to set up, FaceTime or Skype or something like that, I'm happy to do that too, or a phone call if that's easier for you. I also have virtual office hours on Mondays 12 to 1 where I will respond to any emails or Canvas messages immediately. So I've left that time aside just before the day before most of the assignments are due. So my contact info is here. Again, email is the best way. The required texts are here. They also should have shown up in your bookstore information as well. We'll have a lot of other PDFs as well. These are some of the main ones that we'll be using throughout the course. A little bit more about the course description, the learning objectives, which we've basically gone over. The certificate learning objectives will be different than our specific course ones, but they're fitting into the same things. Our major assignments and readings are listed here as well. Note that these weekly discussions and responses might seem to take up a lot of time, but realizing that this is a significant portion of your grade. So 30% of your grade is made up of that kind of preparation, the reading responses, all of those kinds of things. And then we'll have 2 major big projects, as you can see here, and a smaller one to get us into kind of the effect of digital writing, social media, grading scale, and then the calendar of topics, basically what we're doing each week. So you can get a sense of the the main flow of the course. These might change a little bit throughout the course depending on how people are responding and how difficulties they have and how long things are taking. So I'm going to play it by ear. If things change, I'll update it here and of course let you know through email and messages through the course. And there's a link here again to the full syllabus if you would like to look more about the university and course policies. So the modules is the big section I want to go over with you, and then I will leave you to explore more on your own. So the modules, I have a link here that will stay mostly at the top, just to the course schedule again of what's happening every week if you want to have a quick reference. And then this is what we'll be doing week to week. So you'll have the topics and resources here. You can do it one of two ways, which I've explained in the first week instructions. There will always be instructions and sometimes a recap depending on the week. And those instructions will tell you here, especially the first week, that you can either print this out, which I highly recommend, so you can kind of check off as you do it, and then just link to each one that you need to do in order. So first I would want to do this Are You Ready assessment, and then watch the introductory video, then review the syllabus, then go to the first discussion and answer that, and so on. So you can do it that way, or if you prefer, you can just go through the next button, read the instructions, print it off if you'd like, and then this will take you through each of those kinds of materials as well. So if I click next here, it will have me open the assessment in a new window. Once I finish with that, I can go next and open the video. And then I could download the syllabus and look at it. And then I go into the first discussion and so on. So as we go through the course, you can find out what works best for you and work on it from there. But the links are all there in the instructions, and you can go through it, or you can go through it piece by piece, or you could just go to the modules and click on each one here as well. So that's basically how it works. And you can see that anything that has points, your assignment is marked here. If you're just interested, I want to make sure I finish the assignments and make sure I know what exactly is worth points this week. Obviously, you'll have to use all these materials to do it, but you can go to the assignments link. So here's what we have. We have a couple of short discussion responses, a response to the readings for this week, and we have a technology assessment, which is just you letting me know what kind of technology you're familiar with so I can get a better idea of the level of the course and how to adapt assignments to that, and a little bit more about your background. The discussions, I've left that open too. So these are the discussions, the introductions, and then the second one is more about digital writing and communication this week. I've already answered my introduction here to give you a model and tell a little bit more about myself. When you click on the discussion, it will give you the instructions and tell you how to respond. So you basically have to hit your reply and then post reply. You won't be able to see other people's instructions, answers until you have posted first. In general, mostly because, and sometimes I might change that, but mostly because sometimes the answers will be the same. I want to make sure everyone does their own work and has their own thoughts first before they get something else's ideas in their mind. The grades are here as well. This gives the breakdown of what each thing is worth, and I will update this usually once a week. If there's a major assignment or project, it might be a little bit later than that. Obviously, a couple weeks might be to take care of bigger assignments. The media gallery is here too. This is one of the small things that you might want to look at. Any videos that we post will be also posted here. This one that I'm doing right now will be posted here, but also the one that's on the social media revolution for our second discussion will be here as well. So you can always kind of look there for instructional videos if you need to, or information. And you can also add your own media and videos in a way that has a lot of storage you might not have on your own computer here as well. Library resources we'll be using more just links to the IU library as we get into the final project for more research purposes. You can see all your other classmates and people and find more information about them. If you're on campus, you might be interested in our tutoring at the writer's room or anywhere else. And this student engagement roster, I will only occasionally update if there are issues. If you're attending and doing your work, I probably won't be doing too much with that, but I'll give everyone a heads up if I do decide to use that more this semester. So that's basically it for our first short video. I'm looking forward to meeting all of you and getting to know your work this semester, and I hope that you're having a great start to the semester. Thanks, and I will be in touch again soon.